Welcome, everyone, to Real Estate on the Up, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the real estate world in Orlando. I'm your host, Kyle Madorin, and on this show, we're all about pulling back the curtain with the unfiltered truth about real estate. We're not just here to sell houses. We're here to provide concierge-style service because everyone loves being treated like a VIP. This podcast is your go-to resource for transparency, integrity, and the knowledge you need to make smarter real estate decisions. Whether you're a seasoned investor or a first-time home buyer, we've got you covered. So buckle up and get ready to move up in the world of real estate. It's time for Real Estate on the Up. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Real Estate on the Up. This is Kyle Madorin, and I'm here today with John Hayton. John is a very interesting agent because he did not originate here domestically in the United States. He came as an international transplant. And so he has great background to share with us, both in terms of his journey of how that occurred, but then also what he's taken from his past careers, turn that into a successful real estate career, and some of the things that are going on now in the marketplace that he's able to help buyers with, specifically in this era of higher interest rates and lots of new construction in Orlando. So let's welcome him to the show. Here he is. John, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Kyle. Pleasure to be here.
Well, I appreciate your time very much. And I think that you've got an interesting story that people will be very intrigued to hear. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how things started for you overseas, what brought you to the United States, and then how you got started in real estate.
Right. Well, me and my family moved from Manchester in the UK back in 2002. Believe it or not, it was the weather that brought us here. The climate in Manchester isn't very conducive. It's probably grey skies for 300 days of the year.
Wow.
So it's nice to come here, get a bit of sun.
Different climate. Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Now, we had a business in the UK, I was a bookmaker. We had betting shops.
Okay.
And I needed to buy a business here in Florida so that I could use the L1 visa. We found a British store in Old Town in Kissimmee, which we purchased. We built that up and eventually started importing the foods ourselves to generate a bigger turnover to allow us to qualify for the green card. My next door neighbour, he was in real estate. He worked for a company called Superior that used to sell vacation homes and develop with Ingle the builder a vacation community. And he was desperate to have a British agent in the office because they were all Americans. And at the time, they were selling a lot of houses to British people. So it kind of made sense for me to go and get my license and be put to work with Superior. I started work with Superior in 2004, selling a lot of vacation homes, started with inspection tours, picking the people up from the UK at the airport, showing them around the area, and then selling them houses. And it was very successful until the crash of 2008, when everything kind of went pear-shaped.
Right.
The vacation market kind of tumbled. So I transitioned to foreclosures and short sales. I educated myself with a course on short sales, and I started helping people both buying and selling short sales. It's a very prolonged process, but it's rewarding when you get to the closing table, both for the seller and for the buyer. The seller gets from under a rock. The credit's ding, but it's not a catastrophe. So I did that all the way through to 2013, and then I got back into the residential market. I service 5 counties in Central Florida. I do Seminole, Orange, Lake, Osceola, and Polk County.
So pretty much the whole Orlando metro area.
That's right, exactly, yeah. It's such a diverse area. There is something for everybody. Whether it's families looking for good schools, maybe in Seminole County, whether it's retired people looking for things to do in Osceola or Orange County, or if you're just starting out and you want maybe a lower value house, Polk County's got all sorts of great deals going on at the moment, and it's expanding like you won't believe. We
That's a
have.
great point. I love that you said there's something for everyone because it's true. No matter what you're seeking, it can be found in Central Florida here. And so that's great. And you're obviously an expert at helping people find those types of properties. But before we get into that too much, I want to go back a moment and talk about short sales because we are starting to hear some people ask if that might be something that we begin seeing again in our current marketplace. So can you explain for anyone listening that who isn't familiar with a short sale, just a real brief, what does it mean when you short sell a house? Why would you need to do that? And explain a little bit about the process.
Right, yeah, certainly, Kyle. A short sale usually happens when you fell behind on your mortgage payments and you're in deficit. And rather than go into foreclosure and the bank take the house off you, you can list your house for a sale, a short sale, and the realtor then, the listing agent, negotiates with the bank for the bank to accept less than the mortgage owed on the property. Although it has to be close to current market value, they will forgive the deficit. So the seller walks away from the house, his credit's dinged a little bit, but it's not a catastrophe. He gets from under the house, and in 4 or 5 years, if he works on his credit, he can buy another house again. The buyer gets a really good deal, and generally speaking, short sale houses are usually in better shape than foreclosures. I've seen terrible foreclosures where the people are forced out the house, and on the way out, they tend to trash them. Whereas a short sale, the seller's working with the bank to come to an amicable solution for all parties. So it works out very well, both for the seller, the bank, and the buyer.
That's a great synopsis of the process. Yes. And the fact that you're an expert in that, do you think, in terms of what you're seeing today, that we could potentially see some more short sales? Because for about a decade now, we really haven't seen many in the marketplace.
I'm not so sure in Central Florida, simply because the amount of people that are moving here.
Gotcha.
Since the pandemic and people kind of realised they work from home, once that penny dropped, they realised they could basically work anywhere they want. So what I'm seeing a lot of people from like Boston, Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York, Chicago. They're all coming down here for several reasons. The main reason, obviously, they don't have to deal with the snow, which is a big bonus, especially at this time of the year. But also, there's no state income tax in Florida. So
That's
they're giving
huge.
themselves a nice bump in pay just moving to Florida. And then again, you compare the house prices to these areas. And Florida, although the prices have risen over the last 5 years by maybe 25, 30%, they're still a lot cheaper than the areas I mentioned. And along with that goes cheaper property taxes. So all in all, they're making a massive saving by coming to Florida.
Absolutely. Are you beginning to see a bit more international investment again here, or is it still pretty slow from buyers who are out of the country?
It's still a little bit slow simply because of the exchange rates.
Right.
When I was started in 2004, like the UK pound was nearly $2. Now we're sat around 126.
Got
So
it.
people from the UK, it's sort of like a 30% increase in prices just because of the exchange rate. So the reverse of that is happening. There's quite a few British people selling the houses that they bought in 2013, 2015. They've made money on the capital gains, the sale price, but also now when they take the money back to the UK, they're getting another bonus with the lower exchange rate.
That makes sense. Making the right moves depending on the market, which is cyclical. Sometimes things are better for buyers, sometimes they're better for sellers. And right now we're in a market where things are shifting to be a little more advantageous for buyers. So I'd love to chat with you about your experience. I know you have a lot of work under your belt with builders and how new construction happens and what some benefits are. So I know one of the things that buyers gravitate towards is new construction because of perks that builders
Yeah,
might offer. So tell us a little bit about that and what you're seeing these days with new construction.
right. Well, The benefits of new construction, first and foremost, you get a warranty with the house. No one's ever used it apart from you, and it's upgraded like you won't believe. Quartz countertops, tile in living room, and it's all in the price. What I have noticed in the last sort of like 12 months, builders are now contributing towards the closing costs and usually picking up all the closing costs. On top of that, they're buying down the rate. I've closed deals in the last 3 weeks where the interest rate's been 4.25% for the 30-year fixed.
That's really good.
Yeah, Lennar, DR Horton, they're spending millions and millions buying the rates down for buyers. So it's stress-free. You're not in a chain. You're not worried about home inspections. It comes with a 12-month top-to-tail warranty and a 10-year builder's warranty on the actual structure. So it's kind of peace of mind, if you will.
Definitely.
And yeah, you've got great areas as well.
There's a lot of advantages with new construction, especially in our current marketplace. And you mentioned that you've worked with a few buyers very recently. What parts of town are you seeing a lot of buyers looking at when they're considering new construction?
At the moment, I've been doing a lot in Polk County, Winter Haven, Haines City. The really are up and coming areas. There used to be massive orange groves out there, and they're all being ripped up because they're starting to build more houses. In Winter Haven, there's a huge medical community. There's a massive hospital, and all the auxiliary services are there. Aldi, Walmart and Amazon, they've all opened up massive warehouses within 15, 20 minutes of Winter Haven. So there's plenty of work for everybody. And the prices, you can get a beautiful 4-bedroom house for the low 300s. Well, with a 4.25% interest rate and your closing costs paid, it's kind of a no-brainer, to be honest with you.
It's true. If you are interested in living in new construction and you're okay with gravitating towards that part of the metro area, it's hard to beat. Resale properties can't compete with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same in Seminole County. The schools are probably a little better in Seminole County, the public schools. So the prices are a little bit more expensive. Well, quite a bit more expensive. They're closer to $550 to start. But again, beautiful family areas, loads going on, loads of restaurants, bars, shops. You want for nothing.
Yeah, there's so much to do around Orlando. I know that's one of the things that when people visit here, of course, most people just go to the airport. They go from the airport to Walt Disney World and back. They don't see a whole lot of Orlando. But once they start exploring, there are so many wonderful little neighborhoods and great restaurants, a never-ending supply of entertainment and things to do. And it's eye-opening for a lot of people how wonderful the metro area really is.
And you're close to the beaches on both sides. So if
Definitely.
you prefer the Gulf side, you're probably an hour and 40 minutes away. If you prefer the Atlantic side and maybe a bit of surfing, you're an hour and 10, an hour and 15 minutes away.
Yep, you're right in the middle of all the action.
That's right, exactly, yeah. And also being in the centre here, I guess we have to mention the H word. When hurricanes hit, they tend to lose the power coming over land. So the most devastation is on the coast. So if you're in the centre there, you might get a little bit of damage, but nothing like you see on the coast. Floodings doesn't happen very often. There might be a little bit of wind damage to your roof, use shingle, but I mean, not the devastation that you see at the coast.
Yeah, we're far enough inland that we tend to not bear the brunt of those storms. They blow out a little bit by the time they get to us.
Exactly, yeah.
Good.
And it's a safety thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you, in the past, have worked many times with investors who are purchasing second homes or vacation properties that they're looking to use for income. Are there still any areas where you would recommend investment where the value is still there for people looking for that type of property?
Yeah, certainly. Davenport is really blowing up. You're about 15, 20 minutes from Disney. Again, along 27, you've got bars and restaurants, and there's a lot of nice vacation communities. And what the builders are doing now, they're kind of one-upping each other. So the community facilities are an awful lot better. You get like the clubhouse, the lazy lagoon, all the things that the kids want. So if you're not in the theme parks and you want a day off, which, I mean, they're very tiring, those theme parks, you can just relax by the pool, community pool. So you've got like a tiki bar, so you can get lunch, you can have a few drinks. And then after that, you can go back to your private pool at the house and just chill out. So they're certainly up in the game, the builders, with the community facilities in these vacation home communities.
It's true. Some of the clubhouses and the amenities are so elaborate and beautiful. It's amazing.
Yeah, places like Solterra and Story Lake, they're just incredible. Champions Gate, it's amazing. You feel like you are on holiday.
Right. It's true. It's absolutely true. And some of those communities have pockets. So part is geared specifically towards vacation homes, and then part is geared towards primary residence. So you can still enjoy those sorts of communities, even if you're looking for one or the other, and you're not just an investor who's seeking something to make money on. I know Champions Gate has specific sections where they don't allow short-term rental, but you can still take advantage of the beautiful clubhouse and water park and things that they have there.
Exactly right. Yeah. They have residential communities. And to be fair, I mean, if you're moving here, the last thing you want to do is be living next to a party house.
That's true.
People are on holiday, they're out round the pool till 11, 12 o'clock at night. And if you've got to work in the morning, it's a distraction. So it's great that the builders set up these residential communities, but you also have access to the community facilities. It's a win-win.
That is a great point. And checking to see what the minimum occupancy is for a property before you purchase. If you're in those areas, Kissimmee, if you're in Osceola County, Polk County, part of Lake County, you're looking for a home for yourself as a residence, you definitely want to check and see if they allow short-term rental in that neighborhood to make sure you're not in the situation that John just described.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's very true. So with the way things are happening, and I know it's so hard for us to predict in our world of what's coming in the next few months, where do you anticipate us going in terms of interest rates and any changes that might occur in the real estate industry over the coming year?
I would hope to see interest rates trending down. It's going to be a slow process, I'm sure. But I mean, ideally, if you could get the base rate to around about 5.5% by the end of the year, I think that would stimulate the market. And I think you would see more business being done, more people coming off the fence, rather than the 7% that you're looking at now.
Right. We got spoiled during the COVID years when we had those 2% and 3% interest rates. And, I wish we could say that those are coming back, but, most likely we're not going to see those again.
I remember selling a house to a young fellow. It was his first house he bought, and he worked for Apple in the store. He was one of the technicians. Really, really nice bloke. I went to the closing table, and he had a fixed rate of 1.9% for 30 years. Wow. And the closer at the title company said to him, no matter what you do, make sure you make your mortgage payments and never refinance.
Right, it's true.
How true it's come today, yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. Good for him. Well, John, if we have people who are listening today, what would be the best way for them to reach out to you, contact you if they have questions about investment, new construction, or help with buying or selling their property?
The easiest way, obviously, is my cell phone, and the number is 407-690-9949. And you can also contact me on email, which is britishrealtor30@yahoo.com.
I love it. That's certainly a fitting address for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 007 was taken.
Right. Well, that is fantastic. John, I really appreciate the time you spent with us today answering these questions, giving us your insight. You certainly are an expert in your field. And I love the fact that you've decided to call this area home, as so many others have.
It's a wonderful area. The people are very friendly and they're very welcoming. I love it.
True. Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you so much again. I hope you all enjoyed listening to John's expertise today. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Real Estate on the Up. We'll catch you next time. Thanks again. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
As we conclude another eye-opening episode of Real Estate on the Up, I want to express my appreciation for joining us. Thank you for being a valuable part of the Real Estate on the Up community. Your time and engagement mean the world, so make sure you subscribe and leave a review. Your real estate goals are my priority, and my team and I are here to provide the personalized attention and service that have earned us high recognition. If you have questions, need guidance, or are ready to make a move, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm just a message away. I'm Kyle Madorin, one of Rate My Agent's top 100 in the United States, signing off. Until next time, take care and make those real estate dreams a reality.